Good morning. It is Tuesday morning, and I'm sitting in my mom's yard. And I had a surprise this morning when I went out to the garden, and I brought her that surprise so she can have it for dinner tonight. Zucchini, some cocazella, and some summer squash. And these look a little bit worse for wear because Baylor's been out here using them as lawn darts, I think. But I think that the squash might be just a little bit early. It's just before the 1st of July. And I think maybe that's because the plants that I put in the ground were pretty big at the time I put them in too. But a couple of other things that are kind of way late in my garden. I have some Naking cherry trees, and by the 20th of June, we are usually making Naking cherry jelly. That is a mouthful. But the cherries aren't ready. They're just barely starting to change color, let alone get plump, and juicy and ready to make jelly out of them. So that's really slow. And I would say that my tomatoes are ahead of schedule. So I don't know what the difference is, but we'll just kind of look at that. But I wanted to show you my mom's garden for just a second. Okay, so my mom she starts out with raised beds out there, and there is cabbage and spinach, and I think some Brussels sprouts are planted there. And I don't know if you can notice this fence that's around it, but we planted her brand new trees that came out of the greenhouse over there, and the deer keep getting in her garden out here. And so we put up an electric fence to keep the deer away. But Mom has some great big apple trees, and they are just loaded this year. So I think that we're gonna have a good time with all the apples we're gonna be ready to produce. But she has a big yard, a great big yard. These trees right here are curly willow, and they drop some really neat twigs that I use for interior design. And then she just has some big poplar trees. And then this is her strawberry bed, and I need to come out and help her get the grass out of it. But my mom always plants flowers, and it's great that it brings in the pollinators to help with the garden, but also it just brings her joy, and it makes her happy when they're she loves these little African daisies. Aren't those cute? Yeah, I like those too. Anyway, so last year my son-in-law built her this trellis, and the trellis is for grapes. And we were worried that her grapes hadn't made it through the winter, but they did. They're coming up great, and she has 3 brand new ones. And eventually they're going to come, they'll just grow right over the top of this trellis, and it'll be like a shady area down here, and the kids are going to play there. So that's pretty cool, I think. And anyway, she grows tomatoes in these water troughs, and peppers, and I want to show you her peppers. She gave them a haircut last week and chopped the little tops off of them, and look how they're coming back, so bushy. You see that? Look at all that new growth. And they're going to come back, and they're going to be great bushy plants. And she's got some spinach. Right there's the asparagus bed, and we had to build our own asparagus bed because, and this is new for this year, but everybody came and got the asparagus that was out in the foyer, or in the borrow ditch, and she didn't have any after that. So we decided to just put her own bed out here. And then she's got rhubarb growing right there. But anyway, some more flowers, and she has a beautiful deck that's wonderful after the sun goes down. After the sun, it's really hot until about noon when the sun's right here, and then when the sun starts going down and the house is shading it, it's pretty good. But that's it. Our surprise, our first produce out of the garden, and a garden tour of my mom. And you got to see what happens when you trim the tops off your peppers, how they come back bushier. But I'm headed to Tooele. I have a granddaughter that's going to be in the Miss Tooele City pageant this afternoon, or tonight, excuse me. Camry, we're excited for you, and we're proud of you, and good luck. And I will get back tomorrow because I want to show you some things in my garden. You get your hands dirty and plant something in that garden.